Good afternoon, I'm Herman Green with the Midday News. A special welcome to viewers watching on onespotmedia.com. A reminder as well that you can watch TVJ live by downloading our One Spot Media app from the Google Play Store or the App Store. That's the number 1, followed by the words Spot Media. The police are trying to identify the two bodies of two men who attempted to rob a house in Mountainside in St. Elizabeth last night. The men were cut down before they could effect their plans. The details from TVJ's Jillian Pearson.
A hacksaw and masking tape were some of the tools the thieves used as they attempted to rob a house in Mountainside, St. Elizabeth, Sunday night. They managed to open the front grille of the house, but the thieves did not expect what happened next. Before they could enter the house, a licensed firearm holder challenged them.
He heard strange noises coming from outside, and when he went to investigate, 3 gunmen opened fire at him. He returned fire from his licensed firearm pistol and summoned the police. When we came to investigate, we saw one man lying on the ground who appeared to be dead. We also combed the area and realized that on the grill there was a large wrench being used to break the lock that was on the grill. The scene was processed, and earlier in the morning we recognized that there were some blood trails, and we found another body further in a pumpkin field beside the house. That individual also succumbed to his injuries.
Assistant Superintendent of Police for the St. Elizabeth Division, Heron Samuels, says 2 of the 3 robbers were shot and killed. The 3rd man remains at large. ACP Samuels has a message for residents in the parish.
We are just urging all the persons within these communities to ensure that when you recognize strange persons in your community, just call the police, because these individuals seem to be from another parish and not from the St. Elizabeth space. Just any information that you may have that can assist the police in keeping your community safe, we just wanted to share that information so that we can ensure that we have no more occurrences like these.
He says 1 gun was found with live rounds, and the police are still searching the area. Jillian Pearson, TVJ News.
4 persons are being treated at hospital after a Toyota Prado and a coaster bus crashed on the Little London Main Road in Westmoreland this morning. The driver of the Prado, who is a pastor, along with his wife and a child, are in critical condition. The driver of the coaster is at the hospital in stable condition. It is unclear how the accident happened. However, the police are doing their investigations. We will have details on this in subsequent newscasts. Over in Manchester, the police are still searching for persons who killed 50-year-old Jerome Williams at Downs in the parish. Initial reports suggest that Mr. Williams was at a shop in the area when gunmen dressed in black fired at him several times. The police were summoned and Mr. Williams was pronounced dead. His mother is devastated.
Last night, and while I was here last night, I saw a car come in on a speed, and I hear my granddaughter bawl out, "Nuff, dead and shoot nuff out the road." I ran to the gate. When I reached the gate, I could not stand up. 2 persons pulled me up by my hand, and I went up by the scene. When I went up by the scene and see nuff down on his back, I couldn't believe that it's really nuff.
Delroy Banton is the owner of the shop where Mr. Williams was killed. He explained what happened.
When I park right in front of the shop, I go around put up my key for go to my house, carry my baby mother, and the baby go by the house. When I go around, I see enough if I come from my garage, I call ultimate Danny, Slider, that's what him call me most, the Slider. Send me something there. When I go around the back, take up the key, say me selling up something here, blow. When we end up come out of the shop, we find out enough of get shot, we find enough of a dirt.
The police high command says it will be increasing its reliance on forensic science to build cases against gunmen wreaking havoc across the island. With some eyewitnesses reluctant to provide evidence to investigators, Deputy Commissioner in charge of crime, Selvin Hay, says the police will introduce other methods to catch suspects.
We know that we are in this atmosphere where people are fearful of coming forward. I still want to continue this appeal that has been made over time that we need to have our citizens' assistance. But we also can assure the public that we also have other measures in place, like other investigative capabilities that will assist us in unearthing evidence, like the ballistics and the forensics aspects of the evidence. that we're also looking to incorporate in the case building.
And DCP Hayes says he has been holding meetings with members of CTOC and the National Intelligence Bureau to plan strategies to target leaders of criminal gangs.
We have to work together now to target some of these people, as I said before, who you'll not find handling the guns, but who are influencing, who are benefiting from it, and who are also using the opportunity to claim turf and to broaden their enterprise.
Gender and Development Practitioner Judith Webern wants National Security Minister Robert Montague and the Jamaica Constabulary Force to provide details on domestic violence figures revealed last week. Speaking at the Domestic Violence Intervention Program, Mr. Montague said statistics show that more men than women have been killed in domestic violence in the past 2 years. In an interview with our news center, Ms. Webern said she was not convinced and questioned why the figures are only being released now. She also wants the minister to define the types of domestic violence which accounted for the deaths.
I find it hard to believe that this had happened, and in 1 year he said 45, that this would not have made big press, because we know that this would be a big deal. It would have been headlines. It would have been brought to our attention. So I don't understand why we've never heard either in the press or in police reports before. I'm sorry. I mean, of course, one never takes joy in hearing that a man or a woman dies under these circumstances, but I would need some details to clarify that it was a result of intimate partner violence.
According to Mr. Montague, 46 men died in domestic violence-related incidents in 2015, while 15 women were killed. In the following year, 38 men were killed, while 25 women lost their lives. He also commented that there is a disturbing trend of men being abused by women, and it was likely that more men had died as a result of domestic violence, but the cases were not reported. Controversial Jamaican Muslim cleric Sheikh Abdullah Al-Faisal is now at the St. Andrew Parish Court for his extradition hearing. He was arrested in Kingston on Friday by members of the Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime Branch on an extradition warrant. He is expected to challenge his extradition. In documents submitted to the Jamaican authorities for his extradition, the U.S. government accused him of recruiting persons to join the international terrorist group ISIS. In the indictment, the Jamaican cleric is also accused of aiding and abetting acts of terrorism internationally. The opposition leader Peter Phillips is also taking the Prime Minister to task for not holding ministers accountable for their role in the multi-million-dollar debushing program. The Office of the Contractor General reported that 3 ministers may have been malicious in their response to the OCG.
And the Contractor General said members of the cabinet didn't tell the truth to the Contractor General. And to date, the Prime Minister of the country has taken no action to correct the misdeeds of those members of the cabinet who broke the law in not being truthful.
Member of Parliament for Southwest St. Elizabeth, Floyd Green, is assuring teachers in the area that all early childhood institutions will be upgraded over the next couple of months. Mr. Green says most basic schools in the parish are not up to the ministry's standards. He was speaking at a GSAT Awards ceremony at Luana in St. Elizabeth recently.
One of the things that we will be doing is bringing some of them as infant departments and bringing some of them as standalone infant schools. And the difference is when you're an infant department and an infant school, the ministry pays the teachers, the ministry covers all expenses.
He says when the schools are certified, there will be more resources for students.
Our drive at the ministry is that over the next 3 years, starting next year, over the next 3 years, we will have at least 50% of our early childhood students in basic schools or early childhood institutions that are run by the Ministry of Education.
Scores of children received educational supplies and free health checks at a back-to-school treat held at Jamaica College on Saturday. The event, hosted by Member of Parliament for St. Andrew Eastern, Faisal Williams, treated students to educational supplies and book vouchers. Mrs. Williams said the initiative aims to alleviate some of the costs associated with back-to-school expenses. The MP noted that the treat has a significant impact on the lives of the beneficiaries.
We've targeted primarily the inner city communities. It's back to school, and generally the burden is heavy on parents, especially in those communities. So we brought together children from all over the constituency, one, to have some fun before they go back to school, but two, to ensure that they get some school supplies as well, bags, pens, pencils, erasers, and so on, to help with the burden of back to school.
And some of the recipients expressed gratitude for the assistance.
We're thankful for this that the Member of Parliament has put on, because cost of living is very high, and we know we're going to get a lot of book here, what we have to go out there and purchase, and it's very dear. Some of us cannot even afford it. But we thank God all of us is here today, and we're all going to get something, and we're enjoying the day.
I really enjoy the treat. I have fun. I look forward to get bag and books and all those stuff.
That treat is mad. I can't wait till next year.
We go down to international news. A long recovery seems likely after Tropical Storm Harvey tore through Houston last weekend, stranding residents on rooftops. The storm dumped more than 24 inches of rain on the city over a 24-hour period. We go to the CNN for more.
This is going to continue for a while. Now, if you look at the feeder bands, just when you think they're going to end, the system continues to fire up more rainfall and bring it in from the Gulf. The center of Harvey here has only moved 60 miles in the last 36 hours. And if you break it down even more than that, think about the resources. We're going to have to spread these out across a good chunk of eastern Texas, because I'll show you the totals in a minute. But even the National Weather Service out of Houston has been extremely busy. These are all tornado warnings. They have issued 99 tornado warnings since the storm first moved in. So the watch is still in place. We've got that in effect. But if we break it down, this is the forecast now. Most of the precipitation to the northeastern flank, and that makes sense because you're getting that flow in coming in from the Gulf. But what's happening, the reason that we still have Harvey as a tropical storm is that it's feeding on the water it has already dropped on land. It's called the brown ocean effect. Usually these storms, of course, they feed on the warm waters when they're over water. But it's dropped so much rain in Texas, it's actually using that as energy. So as the rain bands move in, they're still moving into Galveston, Houston, maybe a little bit more even toward the east. That gets into Lake Charles too. But when the spin is still now making its way slowly toward the coast, here's the next concern. And the computer models hinted at this just the other day. It moves almost back to where it made landfall and then slides offshore. Stays at tropical storm status. Many times by now this would have been a tropical depression or even the remnants of. But even with that said, it doesn't matter in this case. This is a different type of storm.
And we go now to sports. Jamaica's team to the Caribbean Badminton Championships in Trinidad and Tobago returned to the island on Saturday with 20 medals, 5 gold, 4 silver and 11 bronze. Apart from several individual medals, the seniors also took gold, while the juniors landed silver in the team events. Samuel Ricketts and Gareth Henry copped gold in the men's doubles.
We actually had a vision in our heads that we'll come out and win the finals in white clothing, and we actually achieved that. We came out, we played hard, even though we lost the first set. We knew we had the capability of beating the US pair, and we really just came out and did our best, and our best was good enough.
I mean, once we gave our best, and we just came with a certain energy and positivity and focus. I mean, sometimes in tournament things happen, and you kind of have to just bounce back. So we lost in both our semifinals and our finals. We lost the first set, but we changed, tweaked a couple things, and we just went out and believed in ourselves, and we came out with energy.
Bailey grabbed 2 silver medals in the junior singles and was also a part of the senior team, which copped gold.
I'm very, pleased and grateful to be a part of the senior team this year, even though I'm a junior. I'm proud of myself that I stepped up to the plate and contributed to the gold medal.
For Jamaica Badminton Association President Nicole Case, securing more international exposure for the talented group of players remains a major focus.
To compete internationally is very important. It's a very important part of their development. We are going to work aggressively to try to find funding so our players can get more exposure, build their world ranking so that they can increase the level of their play, you know, make them eligible for more international events.
And that's the Midday News. I'm Herman Green. Join us at 7 for the primetime news package. On behalf of our news, sports, and production teams, good afternoon.